Hi.
Hello, ladies. Okay, so the prompt is, what do you think happens after death, and how does that belief impact how you live today? Feel free to discuss.
You want to go first?
Okay. I always thought we died. But I've been doing research because I'm getting older and I'm a little bit concerned about it. So I read this book recently, The Immortal Mind, and it's by this neuroscientist. And he did all this research himself and interviewed people who had come back from death and talked about going through tunnels and finding dead people and everything, and finding their father. And he just said there's so much evidence. So I believe in the immortal soul myself. And he talked about how the brain is like a computer that feeds us, but the soul figures out how it wants to use that information. And when you die, it passes on. And perhaps we get reincarnated, perhaps we don't, or we just go on in this other type of life.
Mm.
And that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I love that perspective, even what you said about how you're like, I want to research, I want to know, I think all of us can attest to that we want to figure out, is there a heaven, is there a hell, what is there after? I'm just going to come at it with stories of research that I've done, and I've had many friends that have gone to heaven and hell. I had a friend named Aisha that she wasn't even a Christian, and when she was younger, one of her friends was shot in front of her, and she was taken to hell, and she had this encounter, a near-death experience, and she saw her friend in hell burning and tormented, and the friend said, Aisha, why didn't you tell me about Jesus? And she said, I didn't know him yet. And that's just one of many stories. I had another friend, Joel, and Joel was living in the world. He was a multi-millionaire on YouTube, hated God, wanted nothing to do with him. He overdosed one day, and he was also taken to hell. And when he was taken to hell, he dropped down, and a spirit came right up to him and said, I've been waiting and plotting on you since birth. He ends up coming out of that experience by the grace of God, and he gives his life to Jesus, and then ends up having a face-to-face encounter with Jesus Christ, and he's been ministering on the streets ever since. And how I can attest to that is that every person I've known or heard of or seen that has had an experience has changed their values, their life. No one that has had an experience like that has come back and just been the same. They've all had a transformative encounter by what they've experienced. And even it says 80% of NDEs all have resulted in people saying that they've seen some sort of light or colors that they've never seen before, or angelic singing and music, and that's 80%. And then there's also the 20% of people that have experienced darkness, torment. But that's just from the side of experience and experiences.
For me, in a way we sort of agree, but I have this different, I also study Jesus and Mary, and my perception of Jesus's belief is that we are all God. We are all, and my interpretation of that is that the universe is all chemicals, molecules, that all just sort of combine, and so God is everywhere. He said, God is in us, God is in each of us, and which to me means there's no God telling us what to do. It's just these chemicals that interact, and so when we go to the other side, we see what we see, like your people saw what they saw, and stuff that I read. And I actually have seen ghosts myself. Ghosts have come to visit me. Before my best friend was about to die, my grandfather came to me and said, she's going to be okay. And then when I went to be with her to die out, I lived in Florida at the time. I went to California to be with her, and she died. And then I came back home, and she visited me to show me that she was okay.
So you can say that the spiritual realm is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
so
that's nothing to do with God.
it has
God
everything
is
to
chemicals.
do with God.
God is chemicals.
It actually says in the Bible, God is spirit. So that's in the Bible, but also it's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So even Christians, when we're filled with the Holy Spirit, we see signs, wonders, miracles. Even in the Bible, angels would appear to people. all the time. So it's actually very spiritual. Even all of Revelations is John taken out of his body into an encounter, a heavenly encounter, prophecy, and angels coming to him and telling him about the end of the world. And so if you read all in the Bible, even Jesus resurrecting, that's supernatural. The Bible is not just historical, it's supernatural, right? It has to do with the Spirit. It has to do with beyond just what we see here. And so one thing that I would say is, you might say, oh, there's nothing after this, but what if there was? Do you really want there to just be nothing after this world?
That's not what I said.
Yeah, no, I'm asking you. I'm not saying that's what you said. I'm asking you. Like, I'm saying, what would you want? Like, if you knew that there could be something greater out there, would you want that? Would you desire that?
I don't know about the word greater. I just mean there is something after. We are going to continue in another realm.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, even the language you use, realm, like, that's spiritual. And heaven and hell, that's spiritual, because when you die,
Well,
your
I'll think
spirit
of
goes there.
a synonym so that it's not as religious to you.
No,
Let me get my codes.
No, even as a Christian, like how I said, God is spirit, like we are, as Christians, like we're spiritual, but not in the New Age term of spirituality, in the way of the Holy Spirit. And so we 100% believe in spiritual warfare. It even talks about that we fight not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers and the principalities, all these things that are spiritual. We're in a spiritual war. And so going back to the prompt of heaven and hell, that's spiritual. And so even what you see, I actually help people that come out of the occult to Christ. And so what you're saying is actually very familiar to me, because what you saw was a familiar spirit that was talking to you, which is demons. And if demons exist, so do angels. And if hell exists, so does heaven. If you believe the devil exists, then you have to believe that God exists, because he's the one that created all of it.
I disagree.
That's okay. Yeah, tell me about it. I
God
want to
didn't,
hear.
we don't know what created all this.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't figured that out yet, unfortunately.
Thank you, ladies. So at this point, I would like for each of you to leave us with your final statement. If there is a bridge, and if there isn't, what your statement is regarding this prompt. What do you think happens after death, and how does that belief impact you today and how you live?
I think we agree a lot.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Because we both see that it's not, death doesn't just stop us, we keep on going into something else.
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, I think we have a good bridge.
Yeah, I would say that we both believe that there's something beyond. I believe that there's heaven and hell, but you don't
in
believe
heaven and
that.
hell, just another,
But we both agree that there is something beyond death, that it's not just darkness, that it's not just nothing.
yeah,
Yeah, we agree that there is life after death.
absolutely.
All right, that was great. So now the ladies are going to discuss within their groups what they thought about the representative's response, and if they have something that they want to add to the conversation.